Good afternoon, it's just noon here, so good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, or good night, depending on where you are in the world today. Hello and welcome. I'm Chris, as ever, and this is the Gross Models channel, and this is Wooden Wednesday, when I continue building that thing. Where is it? Look, I've got it somewhere, there. I've got the little picture-in-picture thing, somewhere around there. It should be my bench view over there, which I shall be expanding momentarily to give you the proper view of that, and the little picture of me up in the corner, up here somewhere. I'll just be here. Yes, it's Wednesday, so it's time to continue with this. I've almost finished. I think there's 2 more episodes left today and next Wednesday, when I should be finishing it, according to my calculations and how far through the build I am and how much more there is to do and things and stuff. So we'll see how it goes, but that should tie in very well with when lockdown is apparently, the next stage of lockdown is closing, and I should be going back to work the week after that. So hopefully it'll all fit together and work smoothly. It could happen. You never know. It could happen. In the chat tonight, we have, today, whatever time of the day is for you. In the chat, we have Pascal was apparently there first, and then Nat was there as dexterous crafter. That's the word I'm looking for. And then I did see Jamie came in as well, and Andy's just come in as well, saying hello. Is this thing on? Yes, this thing is on. Hopefully my thing's on as well, because I had trouble with it yesterday. I started and was talking for 10 minutes, and it was just streaming a black screen with nothing. I could still see the chat, but I hadn't got as far down in the chat as to the bits where people were saying, "Why is he late? Has he not come along yet?" Because the chat starts before I start. So yes, hello and welcome. The kit that I am building, let me switch down to the other view. The kit that I am building is this. It's the Model Aviator, it's called, from U-Gears. That's it. It says it up there. It says it up there backwards, but yes, it's quite big, so you can't ever actually see it all on camera. But yes, it's quite huge. Over the last however many weeks I've been doing this, several, I've built different parts of it. It's all actually come together now. This is the one thing that I've built already. Last week I did the power source, which is all these elastic bands in here. I was concerned about the strength involved and the things and bits breaking, but I have experimented with it. Look, I shall show you. Look, if you wind up this bit, you put this, make sure this is locked. This is the throttle. You wind it up, and all the gears start to turn, and these elastic bands in here all start to get twisted up, and it's all engaged and locked up and winding. You can wind it, it says 22 half turns apparently. So I've wound it probably about halfway there. I'll have to manoeuvre it around a bit, because this is the bit that does the thing. If I initially pull up on this, then, because that's locked in place at the moment, when you pull up on that, that disengages it. And this, as I say, is the throttle. So by playing with this bit, I can ease it forward just until things start to engage. You can see things starting to move, and eventually that bit starts to move as well, and it goes around really very quick. That almost unwound now, because it's got no weights on the ends of it at the moment, because there's no plane or anything. It just goes crazy, but when it's finished, it should be able to be a bit more controllable. So yes, it works. It stores power, it outputs power to the thing, and things happen. So what I shall do is move that out of the way for now, because the next part of the build, we actually start without it. We build something else that gets attached to it. So let's have a look and see what's happening. Shane's here as well, saying afternoon Chris and everyone, hope you're all okay. We're lovely, thank you very much for asking. Yes, we're all fine here. Right, so this is the instruction manual, which is quite substantial. We've gone through all of this over the last several weeks. I don't know exactly how often. There is a big chunk that we've still got to do, but also a large portion of that in the middle is sort of instructions on how to do it and things. So my intention is for today to get the main body of it finished, and then there are the planes that fit on the end, which should be next week. So continuing on with the build, if you haven't watched one of these before, then the way it works is you've got these wooden, basically sprues, which look a lot like that now, with big chunks missing from this one. For instance, only got one bit left in it, which I think is an extra piece anyway, so that's almost certainly not going to be necessary. And that one again has just got an extra piece on that there. So yeah, it looks like that one's finished as well. I haven't thrown any of these out yet because, you know, this one obviously has still got some pieces left on there. That one looks empty. I really should have tidied these up last week, shouldn't I? I can't see anything else on there, so let's get rid of that one for now as well. This is another interesting piece. There are some loose pieces because, for instance, where there's like a large piece, it might have a smaller piece inside it. So I've got a few of those loose pieces in the box that I might well need to come back to as well. So yeah, there's still a few pieces on there, a couple of extra pieces by the looks of it, but some other pieces that aren't, and that one with some other parts on there as well. So the way it works, you need 1, 7 and 8, which I'm assuming is probably these ones. Yeah, 1, 7 and 8, they're the only 3 remaining really. Raging Modeler is here, hello one and all, hello. And the way it works on the sprues, the darker pieces are the ones that you need for this stage, this page basically. So from 1, it looks like I need 2 of those. And that's it from there. All of these aren't any darker by the looks of it. I normally miss 1 or more anyway, so yeah. I'll pop out that entire section actually, because it's the last 2 of those that I need off of there anyway. So I'll put that back in the pile, but not the pile of used ones. Now these are like a laminate board, which are a laser cut. So you don't need to actually cut the pieces out yourself. The way it works is, there you go, I'll show you on this bit. The lighter piece there is a piece that wasn't cut. They cut through all the rest of it with a laser, but left 2 bits on, 1 bit on either side that they didn't cut through. And that's what holds it all together until you need it. So when you pop it out, basically you only need to break through a couple of very thin spaces on the wood, so you don't need to cut them out or anything else. Being that it is basically a nub that's being left, just making sure I'm getting the right piece of that. The other side of that obviously is attached to it, so it might come out at the same time, although I'll try not to. You do need to sand them down a little piece. Now they do in the kit provide you with some sandpaper, also some wax for some parts that obviously it has moving parts, so some of them do need some lubrication to help them slide against each other, so they provide that with you in the kit. There's also this wooden tool which has got some markings on it and is useful for sort of pushing out of pieces, especially like the smaller pieces that you can't get fingers into or don't want to use any other tools on. So that was that. Nothing else on there by the looks of it, so I'll put that back out the way again. And the last sprue, break that in half, is the big piece and the sort of framework over the side. Get it the right way up, it's easier to see. Now none of this has been glued together. It's all friction fit and pins and things. They supply you with some cocktail sticks that you do also use as pins to put things through. I don't know if we'll be doing any more of that, or if I finish with that sort of stage of the build. But some of it has been, for instance, like a part will fit through and then a pin will go through the other way to hold it in place and make sure it's nice and secure. Also that piece from down there. Now there's almost certainly going to be at least one piece that I've missed, because there'll be a little bit in the middle of nowhere that I forgot to get, but we'll find out when we go through the build itself. The first thing I like to do is to grab the sandpaper they provided, which hasn't quite worn out yet, and just get rid of the nubs that are left. It makes it look a little bit nicer, and obviously some of it is moving parts that definitely needs the nubs removed. Everyone's in and just saying hello to everybody, so hello to everybody. Welcome. If you do want to build one of these for yourself, I'll put the links in the chat again. I did earlier on in the pre-stream. But Fox has got them in both the UK and US stores, which basically doesn't cost you any extra to buy them, but it just gives him a little kickback if you buy it through that link. So if you're interested, please use that, because that helps him out massively. And yeah, if you are building it, let me know. And a good place to let me know is in the Gross group, which is my Facebook group that I've created, basically mainly for people to put in pictures of their works in progress or completed builds, and then on my Thursday night stream I come along and basically show off all your work. So join up with that. There's a couple of membership questions just basically saying, is it okay for me to use your picture? Although if you're putting it on Facebook, it's pretty much open anyway. So if you're posting in a group, there's a good chance the group can use it for their own purposes. But I like to ask. And it makes sure you're not a bot as well, so, you know. Right, so there we have all of the pieces required so far today. This one, I don't know if it has an up or down. It looks mirrored to me, so I don't think it matters which way round it goes. So we'll start off with that way round. We'll put one of these, which does matter which way round it goes because the shapes are different, into there. Now these obviously are cut and have little nodges on the outside, so they lock in place on their own, as I say, without any glue. Dexterous Crafter has retracted something. I don't know what it was. I wasn't quick enough to see it. But Phil Bolton's here, saying morning, afternoon, everybody. Indeed, afternoon for me, but I'm aware that the time is different in different parts of the world, and I seem to, for some reason, get views from all around the world. So welcome to everybody that's watching. That pops in there, and the other one goes on the other side. That's nice and easy as well. These generally have a couple of uses. Apart from it looking good and, you know, stopping parts rubbing and things, it also creates a much more structural, because that's got a bit of flex to it, whereas that now hasn't, basically. It creates a much better build. Phil was saying, how is everyone? I'm fine, thank you. I think everyone in chat's okay as well, but they'll find out. They'll answer for themselves. Lewis has found a wooden truck model, so knowing Lewis, soon it will be in his stash for his channel. Indeed. Lewis, who isn't watching, or probably might be watching or listening, I don't know. But Nat here at Dexterous Crafter, not a very easy name to say, but there we go, has just started channels. Lewis and Nat, Model Making Trucker and Dexterous Crafter, have just started their own YouTube channels. So go along, have a look at their channels. If you like what you see, then give it a like. And obviously subscribe and things like that, and it keeps everybody going. Let's see where that needs to go. About there, I think. Yes, that one goes there. Just checking to see that, yes, I am on camera. I've pulled the camera back again another chunk, so hopefully everything I do should be visible. If at some point I do go off camera or anything, give me a shout, let me know. The chat, say if you're not watching where you can see the chat, you should. Lynn's here. Lynn says, I'm good, just woke up for this show. Why? It's because it's me, because I'm lovely. Good, welcome. That's, yeah, everybody else has already been in and said hello, so that's that. Yes, I say like and subscribe all the channels that you see that you like, because, you know, subscribing to them helps them out, gets them more visible. The more visible they are, the more people see them, the more people like them, the more people see them. That's that there. And the last piece for the first page is, yes, no, doesn't matter which way round. It seems to be the same whichever way round it goes. That goes on that side. Actually, yes, it does seem to matter, because these aren't quite lining up on there. Whereas if I turn it round, they do. Although that doesn't. It doesn't line up over that. That's very strange. Hey? Now I'm confused, because it says put it there. But I can't put it there because of this bit. Ah. Aha. I wasn't paying attention. I've done this bit wrong. That should be the other way up. Look, because they're not there. They didn't tell me that. It just say, it's got the warning thing, like make sure you're doing it right, but I didn't make sure I was doing it right enough. So I have to pop that back out carefully. Most of the time this shouldn't be a problem. As I say, it's not glued together, so it's nice and easy. There we go, that's that. So now we can turn it over and paying attention to the instructions. Pop this back in there. the right way up, much the same. Oh dear, says Raging, yes. I'm used to like Lego builds and things like that where it'll actually just say it'll have a little turnover thing. But obviously it doesn't, it just says make sure you get it right. This bit's also wrong, that should be on the other side as well, so let's pop that out, that should be even easier. If you do make a mistake on these and have to replace a part, obviously be careful popping it back out. And don't just pop out one completely. If you've got it held in place with two places, you need to ease through between the two to not strain anything. So that now looks more like that. The wheels are okay, they don't go either way round. So now this bit will go on that side and it will fit in now because, you know, there's not things in the way. Right, so that goes in there. And again, working your way along, making sure everything lines up before you just go crazy on the first bit. There we have it. Cool, right. Easy. Yeah, you have to be extra cautious with the instructions. Phil has just done the train, which I did look at and thought that would be quite good fun. But with any luck, lockdown will be well finished. I won't have time to do that. So I might pick one up at some point. I may well. I'm just getting the next two sprues out again. I would expect I should probably, if not continue doing this, then I shall start it again at some point. But not at lunchtime. I'll do it in the evening times when, you know, everything's settled back down again. People are back at work. So I will pick up more of these wooden things because I do enjoy the build. Apart from, you know, enjoying the streaming, I do enjoy the building bit of it. So I don't think I'll do it for a couple of weeks after things go, you know, well, at least my part of the world is going slightly back to normal. Normal's never going to be the same as it used to be. I don't think. I think the whole social distancing and everything is going to become the norm for the foreseeable future. But things will get back to the new normal. And at that point, I shall bring them back out the stash and start doing another one of these, say, on a Wednesday evening. I don't do anything else of note on a Wednesday evening now, so yeah. It brings us all back together again, doesn't it? A lot of current tubers do a double speed thing, says Andy. I don't know what that was in relation to, but there we go. Shane says, hi Philip, got a great stream last night, really enjoyed joining. Yes, I was in on Philip Prime's stream last night. He's been doing those for a few weeks now on a Tuesday night. Good fun. If you're not already subscribed, again, like and subscribe. There's no easy way of doing it now. YouTube have changed their thing. You used to be able to click on the person's name in YouTube and it would have an option of go to channel where you could easily subscribe and, you know, follow along, go things like that. For some reason, they've removed that, so you can't do that anymore. You actually have to go out of your way to find them and search for them. But it's worth doing it for some people. So find a search and look for. Go along, consider subscribing. Wait till after this, obviously, don't do it yet. Philip Prime says, what's Chris's theme then, Harry Potter? Yeah, on Philip's stream last night, he had a challenge. I don't know if you were given it by somebody or just decided to do it yourself, to insert Bond films and villain names into the stream, conveniently and not without people noticing, but just to fit them in. And yeah, he did very well. We helped out in chat. We put a few in for him. He said he was going to do it again, so I suggested why don't you do Harry Potter films next time, because that would be just as easy, wouldn't it? And he said I should do that today, but no, I'm not going to do that today. Right, this has got them all going the same way round, but I think it will look better and be more structural, as there are 3 of them, to do them alternating. Or, no, I'll stick with the instructions. I'll go with them the same way round. I just noticed I've gone the different way round to the instructions, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't matter. It's one of those, again, not reading the instructions properly, but yeah. Raging Modeler says he's for his intro video. I can't seem to, and then I missed the end of the chat under a window. Let me bring that to the top so I can see all of the words. I can't seem to get to the me speaking thing with the face and the horror. Just ignore the camera. It's not a camera, it's just a thing that you're looking at. That's just the point that you're looking at, and then you just do the talking. Just let your mouth run away. It's fine. What's the worst that can happen? Right, this piece then goes onto there. Getting it the right way round. Yes, that's the right way round. There we go. That's that. I think that's just saying that we're now calling this G1. So yeah, that's now built and substantial and lovely. So I'll put that over there. Turn the page. I'm expecting at some point it will say bring back G1 and just install this to it. Yeah, there we go. G1 and G2. So this is G2 that we're going to be building. Philip Prime says it may have to be something a little easier next week. I think the Bond one worked quite well. The trouble is, it's got to be something that there's enough films or names or subjects in that are quite memorable. And also normal enough that you're not going to, you know, as I say, the Harry Potter one, you wouldn't stand a chance of getting anything without people instantly knowing what you were doing. Whereas Bond films or Bond villain names, maybe, depending on how you do it, you might get away with for a bit longer. Peter Apple is here. Afternoon, everybody. Oh, a rocket, says Phil. No, not, but yes. These are the two pieces from that sprue. There we go. And then from the other sprue we need two down the bottom here. I say the one thing that they failed on, if you like, from this is probably down to the way I build it rather than them being at fault. When they just show you these bits, they don't tell you what part number it is, which it's got part numbers on the sprues here. The part numbers don't come into play until you're actually building it, but by then I've already taken them off the sprue, so I can't see the part number anymore. It may be that I'm doing it wrong and that I should be only taking them off when I need them, but I find it much easier to get them ready first. Don't be such a quaffle, says Andy. Yes, okay. Granaman's here as well. Welcome all. Welcome everybody. Hello everybody. There are 29 people watching apparently at the moment. So if you're watching and not in the chat, then you should really join the chat, because that's where the fun is, and that's where I do my advertising. So, I mean, if you're not in the chat, you won't be able to see things like how to join my Patreon page. Whereas if you are, then you can. But also the chat is where everybody hangs out and just has much more fun than you would get just watching me build things. Some great people in chat hanging around and chatting, so why not join in? That needs to go on further than that. So as that's proving very tight, I'll put that back out. Now if it's too tight, there's several options. You can, of course, sand it down a bit, just get rid of the edges a little bit. That will make it slide on a little bit easier. Also, they provide you with some wax, which you can use, which again just makes things slide that little bit easier. So by doing both of those, that's a little bit easier. Not much easier, I must admit. So what I'm going to do is get the other one on at the same time, and then use them both to push against each other, obviously not pushing down at this end, just using the bit next to there. There we go. That's that on there now, just like what the picture says. And he says there's great people in chat, awesome people in chat, and then there's me, Uncaged Lunacy. Yes, and I'm here as well. There we go. So that's now going on there. Now that looks like this is going to rotate in there. So again, I'm going to add the lubrication. It doesn't say to lubricate those, so it's probably not going to move very much, or if at all. But lubricating it's always better than not, because it's not a problem to do that. Now, here comes the part where we need to use a cocktail stick. Now, we're only using the bit that's going to go through there. So what I'm going to do is cut it off about there. The one other tool that you will need, that they don't provide you with, is just a blade, a sharp knife. You might get away with scissors, but a blade's obviously easier. So that's going to be going through there. Now again, I'm going to lubricate that for two reasons. Reason the first is that it makes it easier to go through, like the other bits. And reason the second is because it looks like this is going to be rotating around it. So obviously that would need to have some lubrication. I'm also going to do the flats of this. Now this is the same either end by the looks of it, so I don't need to worry about which end goes where. But the flats of that are obviously again going to be rubbing against there. So lubricating them makes sense to me. Now I'm going to use the end of this tool to push that through. Hopefully not all the way through my finger. There we go. Put that through a little bit more. There we go. If I push that flush, then I only have to worry about cutting the X's off on one side. Sal is here. I nearly got your name wrong again. I nearly read out the name, but I remembered now something. There you go. Sal is here saying g'day Chris and all, because Sal is from down under. There we go. Sand off the ends of those. Andy says g'day Sal. Dexterous Crafter says hey Sal. Andy says, nah, it can only get worse if they give Lewis a spanner. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Chronoman is setting up my latest addition to the 1/12 scale collection, Luke Skywalker and his land speeder. Land speeder in 1/12, that'll be an interesting build. Right, that is that. Get it the right way round. It looks like that. Yep, and apparently that is G2. So we'll put that over to the side there. And then we're taking G2 and G1 and indeed putting them together. Now I'm going to pay attention and make sure I get it the right way up. So these pieces are on this side and that is going into there. There's only 2 holes available, so we'll use those. Get that through those. No one's that silly, yeah. That one in there, and that one in that side. Okay, so now we have a bit that moves. Cool. So far so good, I like that. Right, so I've done that bit, and it looks like that. Now we need the parts that we need from 7 and 8. Obviously 7 and 8, because they're pretty much the only 2 that I've got left. So from 7 I need... There we go, as I was saying, bits from down there that I haven't got because they come off already. I shall find them momentarily. I need that one and the other 3 of the same. That one. That one. And that one. That was, no, again, another bit from over there that I haven't got, so I shall have to find those. And the big bit from here. There's the other one that I'm going to be using momentarily, no doubt. So, because, get those out of the way, as I said, I have a collection of parts that have come out. Looks like it's probably that and that by the looks of it, which are number 183. So if I then go down and say, yes, I'm using part 183. So let's get all of those off of those. Get rid of that. And that. So that's all the parts required for this section. A wooden bits box, what next? Hello and welcome to the 32 people that are watching. So please join the live chat and say hello. Even if you've got nothing else to say, at least saying hello, it's polite. You should always be polite. Always say hello when you enter a room, even if it's a chat room. So let us know where you are. We'll do the traditional time and telly. I haven't done that on one of these streams for a long time. So just pop into the chat. Let me know what the time is where you are. The current time zone, as it were. Here is 12:30 in the afternoon. Just gone lunchtime, noon. And the telly bit is, what have you been watching on telly? Have you been watching a download stream show, or a series on YouTube, or anything on real telly? I've been finally catching up with Game of Thrones. I watched the first season when it came out and enjoyed it, and sort of thought, hang about, this seems very, very familiar. And it turns out that I'd read the books, or at least the first 2 or 3 of the books when it came out at the time. So I sort of vaguely knew what was going on. And then the second season came out, and I seemed to watch half of that, and then I think there was a mid-season break for it, which we don't normally get in the UK, or we do now, but we didn't used to, because we used to have to wait a year or 2 before, after the US showed something, and then we get it. But when we started getting them at the same time, obviously the US tend to have a mid-season break, and I sort of drifted away during that and didn't come back. So I had been keeping an eye on it, but not watching it. And then eventually picked them all up when they were on sale on digital Amazon Prime thing, and thought I'd use this imposed lockdown time to get through and watch them all. So I'm like 3/4 of the way through. So let me know what the time zone is where you're at, and what you're currently watching, if anything. I mean, I say not immediately now, because hopefully you're paying attention to me. But if you've been watching a series, wherever, whatever, let me know. Do you recommend it? Is it a struggle to get through? Is it fun? Let's have a look and see. The Raging Modeler says it's 12:32 PM, and I've been watching a lot of Supernatural. Supernatural is one that I am aware of, but have never actually watched. I don't know. It is the sort of thing that I would probably enjoy. I just haven't got around to it, so I probably will at some point. Andy says time 12:32. Telly, Parasite Maxim. Again, not again. That's not one I've heard of. Tell me more about it. Is it any good? Was it worth? Sal says I finished watching the show Timeless. Yes, that's the one where he can't die, or when he does die, he gets better or something. I wish they wouldn't do things like this to me. I wasn't paying attention, and I'll put them in the wrong side. It's terrible when people aren't paying attention and put things in the wrong side. It shouldn't be allowed. Yeah, Timeless. When he dies, he wakes up in the water or something, because he died in the water in the past. Or I think they only made 1 season of it, and then it got cancelled, which was a shame, because I was quite getting into that. 12:32 here. Scotland's 2 minutes ahead. No telly. Been shouting at Royal Mail for refusing to post an item that's perfectly okay. Yeah, tell me more. What's in it? What is it? Something that you shouldn't be posting? Are you sending me some more Hendersons? Is that what it is? Don't tell them it's Hendersons. They might steal it. Jamie 12:34. Telly watching Chernobyl on TV. Everyone's in the same time zone except for Sal, who I know isn't, but he didn't tell me the time. I know it's night time there, but. Phil says 4:30 in the morning. There we go. All my shows are over for the season, so I've been watching a lot of modelling streams. Cool. Yeah, I mean, there's always stuff to watch. That's the glorious thing about YouTube and streaming things. There's always something going on. Timeless is about time travel. Oh, right, not the one I was thinking of. It must be something different. Lynn says it's 5:34. Telly, Chris Fox, Paul, Philip, YouTube. Just watching YouTube, I think, yeah. Philip says it's 12:33 and not watched a lot of TV since lockdown. Last series I watched was Star Trek Picard. To which Nat says that's the only season of Star Trek that I enjoy. I watched Picard. I liked it, but see, I've missed a bit. There's one little bit. There it is. One little bit that I didn't get out. The only trouble I had watching Picard was the way it was released. It was released as a weekly serial, which was never a problem with Star Trek, apart from the odd episode where there was, like, you know, a double or a triple episode sort of thing. Most of them you can watch one and go away quite happily, but Picard wasn't a normal Star Trek series. It was and is a big story. It's a 8 or 10 hour film basically. So watching it one episode at a time every week didn't do it for me, because I needed to see what was going on next, and I want to see the next bit and the next bit and continue on. And I say it wouldn't allow me to do that. So I got somewhat annoyed having to wait for the next episode, but I couldn't just leave it until the next one, because I wanted to watch it now. So yeah, a lot of these Prime and Netflix shows release the entire season at once, which I do prefer. I turned into somebody who much prefers binge watching. So yeah. Right, I've just put another bit through there, the bit that I found, and attached it, and it moves, it wobbles. Gives you a little bit of movement there, gives you a lot of movement there, and it moves. So far so good. I didn't like the swearing in Picard, not very Trek-like, says Sal. And yeah, Discovery started the thing where there was some swearing in Star Trek, and I don't find it a problem. I don't know. In one way, Star Trek has always been about, the betterment of humanity, and everything gets better, and everyone, that humanity is better than it used to be, in which case swearing, I don't know, is swearing a bad thing? That's the real question. I mean, obviously, I as a person, generally don't swear much anyway. Especially don't swear much while I'm talking on telly and stuff. Because obviously monetization and stuff like that, it can be a problem. But it's not much of a hardship for me, because I don't tend to do it very much anyway. But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if every other word you use is a swear word, then yes, you've got some sort of a problem. But that doesn't mean it's terrible. I just need to find the other parts from there, which I think are those 187s. Yep, there we go. And there's one there as well. What's that? That's another 187. And another 187. Okay, got all of them. So yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing. Would it be something that the human race wouldn't do anymore in the future? I doubt it. So it's sort of realistic to have it occasionally, but as an unusual thing to happen, not every sentence, which is how it has been in the show. So it's fair enough, I think. Phil says sometimes swearing is appropriate. I feel sweary annoyed, but as this is an early family-friendly stream, I'll say fiddlesticks. Speed says, it's my drone that I sold, contents declared. Oh, right, this was the posting thing. I can literally buy a bucket load shipped from the UK retailer, but now refused because of the batteries. I was going to say batteries, yeah. Lithium-ion batteries are... you've got to have a special label on the outside when you're posting or receiving rechargeable batteries, I believe. So that's probably it, yeah. Hello from Connor and Paige, says that. Hi Connor. Hi Paige. Welcome. How do you like my wooden assembly? Is it looking like it should? Do you want to build one yourself? It's a Christmas present. Ask for it for Christmas. You never know. You might get a smaller one. Nat says it's 12:38, same time zone. Not really been watching a lot of telly. I'm trying to get around to watching SAS Who Dares Wins, but the idea of Katie Price being on is very off-putting. I don't know it. I'm aware of her, but I don't have any feelings one way or the other. Hello, Minnie Lewis and Minnie Nat, says Andy. Right. On there, we put the other one of them. Then we get the other side all on. So before I do that, I shall lubricate the ends of that, because that rotates in there. Get all that lined up again. Start getting it on a little bit, each of them, so you know they're lined up properly. And then when they're all in the right place, you can give it a good squeeze. That one's not, that needs to go up a bit. There you go. So that's on, that's on, that's on, that's on. That one's on. That one's nearly on. What about the other side? There we go. And that one feels right. That one isn't quite, but give it a little wiggle, and there it is. So that should all go together, just like that. That still moves. It does indeed. So we have to, let's push that all the way through again. Cut off the excess. There we go. Sand that down. Now what Chris is building, again, not quite. This is the control yoke for my flying thing. It sort of looks a bit like a crossbow, but it isn't. This is going to go that way up, and this is the controls for twisting and turning and flying and stuff. Connor says, yes, I like your model, it's really good. Thank you very much, Connor, much appreciated. So that goes on there. The little nameplate goes on the top. Eventually. Get it all lined up just right. That side isn't. There we go. So that's that. That was that. That was that. Now I've got these four pieces to go on somewhere. Where do they go? Oh, around the outside. They aid with the grip. So that one and that one in there just creates a much more rounded handle. And that one. And that one. So yeah, it sort of elongates those interior pieces there. Cool. And that's G completed. So G is now done. Let's see, what do we do now? Now we need number one, which I did have somewhere. Come on, there's only three that I've been using. Alright, number one, I need that bit from the middle there, just that one. And those two from at the top. So that leaves me with that and that. 18s, which I'm sure we'll be using momentarily. Candygrams here. Hello, Gross Models, Dexterous Crafter, Lynn, Spid, and everyone else. Now his wood has a joystick. It does indeed. A stick of joy. Oh, I get it now. Chris is making a model Scorpion, says Phil. Yeah, sooner or later you'll see it all together and you'll know exactly what it is. Is this like an actual one-to-one scale spit Fire, you're building out of wood, says Granaman. No, because that's not 1-to-1. That's tiny. Look, my hands are normal sized, and that's too small. That it works, but it's a bit small. It could be perhaps 50% bigger. But yeah, no, is the easy answer to that. You know what I'm building. Or if you don't, go back and watch from the beginning. Come back in another 8 or 9 hours, or however long it's been since I started building. It's been a long time. Admittedly, there has been some hanging around talking to you lot as well, but there's still quite a lot of building going on. Again, it's warm here. I've got the window open, and yeah, it's bin day. Wednesday. Yes, it is bin day. I put the bins out last night, so it's bin day. So the bin men are here to pick stuff up. I've got just enough on here to go through the 3 of those by the looks of it. So we'll go all the way through the first one. Then we'll go through the second one, but before we do that, I'm going to lubricate the 2 sides of it and the stick. That through there, and then that one on the top. There we go. And then I shall cut off the excess from that. Yes, it does say to do that. Wobble, wobble, wobble. I'll throw away that, because that's the end of that bit. I can't get any more use out of that. I've only gone through half of it. That's no good to me. There we go. Sand off the ends a little bit. Right. Now we need to bring in the main assembly. So let's get that off to one side. Let's move the instructions away. Bring in this. Right, let's see. It goes in the underside somewhere. I can't see where. Oh, there, right in the middle there. There's 2 holes in the middle there that you can't quite see, that I can just about feel. So that, let's tip that down. That will go in there. And that's where it all sort of connects up. Or where half of it sort of connects up. That one. And that side. No, nearly. There we go. So that's now in there with the little dangly bit. Just like it says in the instructions. And then turning the page over. I need one more piece from sprue 1. Which I haven't got. It's not sprue 1, it's sprue 7. That's better. Because I've got that. It's this piece. Which is indeed the last piece from sprue 7. So another sprue bites the dust. Yep, that's now empty. That's my eye you just poked, Chris. That thing's getting big. Yeah, but that's about as big as it gets. Lance is here, saying FNAF. Hello, Lance. Welcome. It's getting Terminator size, says Phil. Not quite, but yeah. Right, now this is going either way round. Under here and under there. Oh, it's an extra support section for this. So let's get the top one under there. Or not. I think I might have to lay it down again. Yeah, that goes in there. And that one goes in there. Just about. It gets any bigger, it'll need a factory of its own. Pretty much, yeah. It's getting to be quite substantial. Right, so there we go. That's just another support that's been added there. And then we bring in G. Just like that. I'm sure it just goes together just like that. It's fine. What's the worst that can happen? Right, we've got to make this goes through there. Which one? The top one. It really doesn't, but it needs to. A little bit of gentle bending. There we go. I'm going to add some lubrication to that as well, because it's going to be doing some rotation. There we go. So that gives you the twisting, and this will give you the raising and lowering. Then we need part 18 and another 18. So the two 18s that I said were the ones that I had left over. So apart from the extra pieces, which I haven't needed, there was one bit that I did break that they didn't give me an extra piece for, but we won't mention that anymore, because I did glue it back together and it has worked fine. A little bit of sanding on those. Okay, right, so these go onto here and onto those. So I better sand the insides of these. That's going to be easier than trying to get to the outside of the other bits. You might finish today, says Sal. No, I finished this bit today. That was always the plan. But even then, I'm going to stop because there's another bit to do, which I'm not going to be doing today. The bits that go on the end here, which you can't see, on the end here, you've got a choice of aircraft. So I shall be building the two aircraft at a later date. Next week, in fact. Not that much later. Right, this is a little bit tricky, that going in there, so I'm going to do that side first, because it's a little bit tricky going in that side over there. I'm trying to get that onto the end. And then, hopefully, just connect it through there. Got to get the angle right, as well as getting the positioning right. So, that's that. And then the same the other side, but this side I can actually see. So again, that goes on there. And that clips in there. So we have now a control that I can tilt backwards and forwards, and it makes it tilt left and right. So far so good. The up and down bit doesn't do anything yet because that's not connected, but I'm sure that's going to be the next stage. That's that and that. I've done that. Then there's this bit with a pin. I need a new cocking tail stick. I'm going to go for the big half because it's easier to play around with. Then I've got to cut the end off. So that's going to go through there where that joins up to there. Yes, then cut the end off, and then that's that. So right, that's that. So let's lubricate that. Make it easier to go in and for it to move afterwards. Now, apologies for moving and knocking the camera and everything, but I need to get to here. There we go. Now this piece, if I can get that over there, there we go. You can see where that needs to go. It's just through there to connect to that. And once again, it's pushing through without pushing through my finger. So I'm going to use the hole on the end of that, hopefully, to get it in the right place. And I'm not going to be able to do it visibly easily on camera. I'm knocking the camera and everything as well, because it's just in the wrong place. You might be able to see it from the top, probably easier than I can see it. I might be able to see it on the camera to do it. Yeah, there you go. So that's that through there. Something's jamming up somewhere. Oh, I'm hooked around. That's jammed into there. Right, okay, that's alright. That will move. Like that. There we go. So now we have left and right and forward and backwards. Cool. Let's get the end of that cut off. Hopefully without cutting off any elastic bands or anything like that as well. Trying to get in and around. It was always going to be fun trying to do the last couple of bits, wasn't it? Okay, sawing through, sawing. Trying not to get my fingers cut. There we go. Right, I can't get into sand the end of that, but that's okay. It's not in there either. There we go. Candygram's been watching Spid's videos. Dexterous Crafter says, hopefully not. No, I won't finish today. I've been enjoying watching. Chris and Fox have been lifesavers during the lockdown. Even Dad and Ted, says Nat. What do you mean, even? That's not very nice. Don't forget Colin, says Lynn. Absolutely, yep. I've been going through his playlist, says Phil. I'm trying to Wi-Fi enable the Arduino on my Falcon so I can get rid of the USB cable. The coding is frying all 3 of my 2 defective brain cells. Yeah, let's get the end of that cut off. Something no man wants to hear, says Sal. No, not quite. Right, that's that, and that is a big tick mark at the end there that says done. And that's starting building something else, which I'm not building yet. So, the actual model aviator kit is now completed. I can wiggle it and wobble it and wiggle it, and it wiggles and wobbles. Let me lock it in place, wind it up a bit, and see how it'll go. I'm going to wind it up a little bit more than I did earlier. I'm not sure why this bit opens, the bit that I did last week. It opens so you can get to it, but it says danger, so don't do it. I'm not sure. I'll leave that closed over. Right, so that's as wound as I'm happy with it being. Now, it's not quite right because I say the ends of it aren't heavy enough, basically, yet. But if I release this from here, then I should be able to let that go very quietly and gently, mostly. It's, yeah, going to whiz around like that a bit. So it'll go longer than that once I wind it up properly, and it'll go slower than that once it's got some weights on the end of it as well. But it works, and this bit of it works that I've just done. So all in all, I'm quite happy with it. It's working. Speed says, hope you enjoyed them. What do you think about the new camera angle on the recent ones? Is it better or worse? I must admit, I can't watch your watch repair videos because I do it for a living. And you do things slightly differently to the way I do things, and it just irks me a little bit. But not that you're doing it wrong or bad, just different. There's no, yeah. Trying to film close-up watch stuff is tricky. Because you have to lean over it to do it closely a lot. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Andy says, ooh, a spinny thing. Just created a weapon, says Sal. Right, yes. So, that brings us to the end of today. Let me switch my camera angle back to just me, because you've seen that now. The remaining part of the instruction manual is not using those big sprues anymore. So I've finished with all of those. What I have to do now are some tiny little sprues. Now there's only 3 and another 3, so I'll make that 6, but it's actually 2 lots of 3. So it's going to be really easy to build. I can have them all out on the bench at all times and just continue on with those. The extra bits here, again, I'm finished with, don't need to worry about those anymore. I still have some elastic bands, and I still have the mystery paperclip. I'm not entirely certain. I haven't seen anything about that yet, so I don't know. Maybe you're meant to use it to keep your place in the instruction book. I don't know. So that brings today to a close. Next week, I say, we'll be building 2 complete smaller little kits. So be prepared for that next time. I'll put everything else away for now. I might still need some cocktail sticks. I hope so, because I've got... Well, I don't mind having many spares. I have been using them more sparingly than they say. They say get one, cut it in half, and then just use a little bit of it, and then throw the rest away. Whereas I've been making them last, because why not? So I'll have some spare cocktail sticks, which always get used in model making anyway. And that is, as I say, that for this week. Next week, I shall be back again next Wednesday, same time, same place, finishing it completely. I shall be building the 2 interchangeable aircraft for the top of it, and then we'll try and get it going. I might not again you might not be able to see much of it running because it's too close. I'll try and get a video done of it and post it up in the group. If you're not already in the group, then you should be, and you can indeed join just by clicking that link there. You can join the Gross group on Facebook, where I post up some stuff and things. Thank you once again to my lovely patrons who supported me and basically enabled me to buy the kit, because, you know, they're not cheap and I haven't got the cash just to go out and spend them on things like that. But due to the support of my lovely patrons, I can. So I thank you all very much. If you'd like to join them, you certainly can. I have several at the moment.
I'm one of Chris's lovely patrons.
Yes, you are, John. Thank you very much. Have you got any other messages for the people watching?
Be a patron now.
Well, I didn't say it. One of my patrons said it, so yeah, there you go. If not, let's say continue to watch the videos. Have a look in the playlist. All of these will go along. I'll work out how long the entire playlist is for next week, and we'll figure out how long it's taken to build this. It would be quicker, obviously, if you're just sitting down and building it, rather than putting it all away every week and doing 10 minutes, quarter of an hour of nattering and chatting and reading comments and chat and things throughout the build as well. But it's not been a quick build. It's big and complicated. I don't know, Phil, how long was that train? You built the train. How long did that take you in man hours, do you think? If you're still around, if you're still watching, if you haven't gone yet. Give an idea, is it, I mean, 5 hours, 10 hours? What sort of thing has it been? Sal says, thanks Chris, an awesome time spent. Thank you very much for watching. Phil is still here. He says, enjoyable as always. Great show as always, says Philip. Candygram says, I was curious where you learned watch repair, Spid. Well, we're finishing up now, so you might not be able to find out in chat, but you can find him through his own channel and contact him and talk to him real ways and things like that. Spid says, thanks Candy, hopefully it's clearer quality. Yes, I've adjusted my cameras and things as well. They should also be a clearer quality as well. Lee Eagles has just come in saying, damn, I've missed it. You have, yes. But go back and watch it again, and next week, don't be late, because next week will be the final episode of the Model Aviator build. Phil says 18 hours altogether. That's quite an investment, but yes, worth doing. You think? I saw it. It ran. It works. So well done on that. Yep. That's that. I'm slow, says Phil. Wait, this will probably take me more longer than that. So yeah. Anyway, that'll be it. I'll be here, says Lee. Thank you all. It's Wednesday today, so tomorrow is not a build day. It's an evening with day. So tomorrow evening at 8 PM UK time, I shall be hosting the weekly evening with the gang, where hopefully some of my gang or patrons will pop along and join me, and we'll just hang out and chat for an hour and a half. Obviously, anyone in chat is welcome to be in chat and throw in questions, talking topics, ask us things, answer things, whatever you want to do. It's just sort of hanging out. Then Friday, I shall be building some Lego at lunchtime. Lego lunchtime, we call it. I'm doing a car, a McLaren, one of the Lego Speed Champions kits. Saturday, nothing planned as yet. I may play a game. Fox might be playing a game. We don't know. It all happens, things and stuff. Sunday is the day of the streams. Everyone streams on Sunday. Colin and Dave will be there at 12:30. I believe Fox will be there at 3, and I will be there at 8 doing the Warhamster big kit thing that you can't see. I'm pointing, but it's behind the post that you can't see. Continuing the painting and building of that. Ted is on tonight. Don't forget, tonight we have a wild Ted appears at 9 o'clock, I believe, over on Skipper's Scale Models. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it's always worth watching with Ted. He might swear, you never know. It could happen. It's after 9 o'clock. It could happen. And next week, Monday, I don't think there is an E-Models show on Monday, because it's a bank holiday in the UK. I know it's been a bank holiday for the past 2 months, but it's an actual bank holiday, so we generally don't stream on a bank holiday, so I don't know if we are or not. Keep an eye on the channel, the groups and everything will let you know what's happening then, but yeah. I shall be back next Tuesday, not with the wood, with the Nano. I should be finishing off the Nano Skyline next week. It's the week of finishing next week, because lockdown's finishing, everything's smoothly fitting together. You wait, this will be the end of next week, when everything's finished and I've got nothing to do. They'll say, oh, we've got another week of lockdown. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But today is over, so thank you all very much for today. I'll be at work tomorrow, says Lynn. Peter Apple just spent 5 hours on camera. On the camera. What camera was that? You have to let us know more about that. It's great fun, Chris. Many thanks. I'll be back in Monday, says Lynn. Good to know, thanks, Candy. Oh yeah, Ted, says Phil. Yeah. No, I need the Immortal Show. I'm off, says Lynn. Thanks for the live stream, Chris, mods, and fellow audience members. Take care, all, says Candygram. And that is a good place to end it. So thank you all for watching. I shall see you all throughout the week for more things to build and watch and just generally amuse yourselves by. So thank you all. Stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you soon. Good night, good afternoon, good morning, goodbye.